This last Lord's Day, we had a chance as a church to meet together for a drive-up or parking lot kind of service where we are kind of phasing back in, physically meeting together. And it was such a blessing to see the people of God, to hear them singing, to not preach to an empty room, but to preach to a parking lot full of cars filled with people whom I love and care for. But as I had the chance to preach outside, we were located on two of the busiest streets in North Kirkland. And as cars were streaming by on a hot day, we're right by a stoplight, so they're stopped right out front, and they could hear what we were saying. We had several folks who were walking by and would stop, and some stayed for several minutes to hear it. And there was an added, I don't know even what to call it, edge to preaching in that context. There was something unique. Not that we said anything fundamentally different from what we would say on a normal Sunday, but the fact that we were saying it, speaking these things in the public square, where our city is listening, to stand out there on the street corner and to say that all of the works of men, all of the promises of the hands of men or of idols are false. Only God can save. Only God is king. They seem to carry more weight when you know that the city is listening. It kind of made me sit back and reflect afterwards on what is the church's role in society. I think a lot of times what we've, at least here in America, what we've done is we've really fallen into a reclusive, almost bunker mentality where we huddle together in our churches and we speak the truth, and we even speak it quite boldly to one another. But when it comes to the public square, we have almost no voice, or in some cases, we have no voice. The church has always been called by God in His Word to speak with what's called a prophetic voice. It's not the use of prophet in the sense of foretelling, telling what is about to happen, although there's an aspect which we can with eschatology. But it has the idea of forthtelling, speaking truth out. The church is called to speak the message of the gospel, to proclaim Jesus Christ, that He is King, that we are His people, that this is His kingdom, that He's coming again to judge the living and the dead, that He will one day set all things straight, that He's making all things new, that He and He only can save. We are tasked as the church to speak that, not just within the walls of our churches, but to our cities as well. And it was a bit uncomfortable for me to realize how rarely we do that. To my own shame, to speak the truth where the city is listening was awesome. I loved it. And it has lit a bit of a fire in me to say that we need to do this more. We need to do this in the universities. We need to do this on the street corners. We need to do this outside of clinics. We need to be preaching the gospel unashamedly as God's people. And it was a really unique opportunity to encourage the saints at King's Cross, with the world listening, that God alone is worthy to be worshiped and God alone is worthy to be trusted. So we should speak with a prophetic voice to the world, because God calls us to be that voice in this city, at this time, and in this place.